all that I knew. I gave up to chase a place where no one knows my name.
Maxville to Vanport was actually a multimedia project. It was an attempt to tell the history of both towns.
It explains the reasoning of the loggers and why they wanted to come to Oregon.
Oregon joined the Union with exclusion laws that excluded free African Americans from living, working, and owning land. And so to have this diverse community in 1923 in Oregon was unusual.
Little did I realize then, just my being there was a revolution.
Maxville is about 14 miles off of Highway 82. The town was approximately 400 to 600 people in Wallowa County. It was a segregated town. It had 2 baseball teams. It had 2 schools. The African American people lived on one side of the town and the whites lived on another.
Loggers were brought out from throughout the United States throughout the 1920s, and it's one of the earliest examples of a multicultural community in Oregon, particularly African American. Our story imagines the idea of someone moving from Maxville after it closed down to Vanport, which was a city kind of where North Portland is today that flooded in the 1940s.
Vanport had the largest population of Black people in Oregon.
They're both examples of early African American communities in Oregon and people coming to start a new life somewhere.
Oregon sounds like freedom. Oregon, oh, it sounds like freedom. Think I'll go. Think I'll go.
The Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble is a 12-member jazz ensemble that is dedicated to commissioning and performing works by Oregonian composers. Maxville to Vanport is probably the most community-oriented thing that we've done in terms of just reaching out to new groups of people and talking with them directly about the project and these events that we put on in the fall. And what do you want to hear? What would you like to see? How do you want these stories to be represented?
We did write a song to start it all out called What Do Your Trees Tell You? And we've presented it at the Oregon Historical Society and then in Eastern Oregon in Joseph.
One of the comments made was that people wanted to hear musical styles that would have been represented in the loggers' experiences back in the 1920s, 1930s. So of course that included blues, jazz, some folk style music, and gospel.
The community input sessions were actually very instrumental in helping me form what I wanted to say in the songs. I learned a lot from people who talked about that they wanted to hear about freedom, or they wanted to hear about courage, resilience, strength-based types of themes.
We also came out and we got to tour the Maxville area. We took all of that in and then went to write the rest of the piece.
I thought it was a very, very effective and very necessary part of this project in order to create something that was authentic that then we could give back to them.
So there's actually two different themes of Oregon Sounds Like Freedom. And then there's a theme that I started to call it the struggle theme. Usually it had to deal with when the character was dealing with some sort of journey or dealing with racism.
It's almost like movie soundtrack music.
It definitely blasts you out of a place of comfort.
There's this emotional impact that music has. This was the best way to be able to tell the story without people becoming defensive.
We presented some of the piece to a number of grade school kids.
They could recognize the instrumentation. They asked very pointed questions. At Eastern Oregon University, we got a chance to listen to their band, and then they gave us feedback on what they heard us do.
It was really neat to see this piece actually bring up discussions of Oregon and what it was to travel from the Jim Crow South, and bringing up some of the realities of our history.
Been there, but I think it sounds grand. Can't be much worse than being chased by the cloud. Oregon sounds like freedom. Think I'll go.
People are ready to hear about America with the inclusion of all of us.
My hope is that people will see Black history as American history.
I think it's just important to document our history, Black history, everywhere.
This kind of project, I think, opened up people's eyes to the stories that weren't being told about the presence of Blacks in Oregon.
They faced so many obstacles. They faced so much danger, and to escape that meant risking your status, meant risking your life and the lives of your families. We can take this all over the state of Oregon, yes, but I think there are people all over the country that need to know how they built their lives and stayed in these states and stayed in the industries and succeeded against all odds.
I got my family, I got my gin, I got my baseball and my poker, and I always win, 'cause I learned how to make do, shape to, escape to, while trying to build a life. With a stacked deck head, y'all, on Oregon From Maxville to Vanport, hundreds of miles they stretched between, and 2 decades apart. Yet the journey remains the same. Staking claim in a place one knows my name.